Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. Today we're playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and we're going to be talking about the one-hit special attack deal, the upright power metal deal, as well as some concerns I actually have for the state of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Now, we won't be going too much into the one-hit special attack deal. Long story short, it's not worth pulling, even if it's 1,500 jewels per pull, and it's only a 3-pull Mercy, so 4,500 jewels to guarantee yourself one of these medals. It's still not worth it because the pool of medals is not very great without traits. So let's just go down the line here. So Supernova ++ Fiend is not very good because it has a conditional multiplier that's as low as ×1, which is really bad, all the way up to ×16. So even at its strongest, it's not as good as medals that are out right now. Remember that our multipliers are hitting around ×20, ×21, ×22. So the fact that the Fiend at its strongest is ×16 is not very good. Not only that, but its condition is 1 enemy or 0 parts left. That means that as long as there's 2 enemies or 3 enemies, or the raid boss has 2 appendages or limbs left, it means that that Fiend is going to be doing a ×1 multiplier, which is not good. So the fact that its multiplier is not very good, it's a medal that was designed to do damage, but we have better damaging medals now, means that it's a skip. When it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3 Pooh, we are going to be talking about him a little bit more when it comes to the upright power metal deal, but long story short is that even though Pooh can act as a generic buffer for power metals, specifically upright power metals, there are better metals out there, like Kingdom Hearts 3 Nominee, or even some of the more recent Supernovas would be a better substitute than Kingdom Hearts 3 Pooh. When it comes to the remaining 3, Final Fantasy VII Remake Sephiroth, Master Xehanort, and KR24, they are good medals because they are self-buffing and their Supernova attacks self-buff. However, without traits, they're really just going to be used for their buffing capacity, and I would rather invest my jewels in something that's going to last me a long time that I can get better traits on, that would be a better buffer than any of these 3. So that's why this banner is particularly a skip. If there were trait medals for things like the Sephiroth, the Master Xehanort, and the KR24, then maybe it's worth pulling, but unfortunately without those traits, these 3 medals change from being powerhouses to just being buffers, and that's just not using them at their full capacity. I would rather just save my jewels for something where I can make it even better. So let's go ahead and start talking about the upright power metal deal. So as always, we're going to do our banner analysis. We'll talk about the medals briefly, and then we'll talk about the draw odds and my thoughts and recommendations on whether or not I think you should be pulling from this. So first things first, with any new banner, you want to see how long you have to decide if you want to pull. And in this case, you actually only have until August 16th. This is a very short-lived banner, being from August 14th to the 16th. But remember, for August 16th, that's actually the same day that the Kairi, the Riku, and the Sora banners go away. So likely, we're going to see a banner pop up on the 17th because we're seeing 4 banners go away. Now remember, you can always wait until 4 hours before reset, which is 8 p.m. PST, to see what sort of announcements they have for the next day. They usually give us a heads up by about 4 hours for the next thing that's about to drop. So if you really want to pull from this, I would say at the very least, wait until 8 p.m. PST, see what the notice is going to be on the Kingdom Hearts Union Cross Twitter, and see if you still want to pull for this banner. Looking at the banner again, it's 1,500 jewels per pull, and you're going to be given 1 Kingdom Hearts 3 medal with every single pull, which is going to be used for sub-slot material, you sell it for draw points, or you keep it for some sort of niche special attack. So for example, Kingdom Hearts 3 Anti-Aqua still has an attack that gives a 100% magic metal reflection, and that's still very, very relevant. You also get 4 5-star or higher medals, which will generally be used as sub-slot material, or you sell them for draw points. You get 1 power gem with every single pull, and this is kind of a weird thing. They didn't include it, but you also get 5 VIP coins. So similarly to the one-hit special attack deal where it says you get 5 VIP coins, you should be getting 5 VIP coins with this upright power metal deal as well. Now the only reason I know this is because someone in my party posted their poll, and as you can see in the bottom right, you still get 5 VIP coins. So I don't know why they didn't include it on the banner. We are going to talk about that a little bit when it comes to the game, the quality checking, and potentially problems that are going to come up in the future. But heading back to the banner, it is a 3 Mercy pull, meaning that for 4,500 jewels, you guarantee yourself 1 copy of one of the featured medals. Now, there are 10 featured medals in this banner, and only half of them are actually useful. So let's go ahead and talk about the medals. It is nice because unlike previous times, they actually have the medal details down here. So it lets you know what the medals do so that you can see everything and you're not pulling blindly and you have no idea which ones are good, which ones are bad. You can actually see all of them, which is strange because they usually don't include that. But we're going to use our templates in order to kind of show which medals are the best. So the first medal you could potentially get is Kingdom Hearts 3 Naminé, and she is still the best heal buffer in the game. She is still the best medal to put second chance on, so she is a good medal for sure. The next one is going to be Key Art 21. Unfortunately, this medal is completely outdated, with one of the best things about it being it ignores attribute. However, we now have Key Art 23, which is a step up in terms of strength, in terms of multiplier. So Key Art 23 is much better than Key Art 22, so Key Art 22 is outclassed. We do get the Kingdom Hearts 3 Terra in the pool, which is good because I still believe that the Renova medals or the Supernova Renew medals are still amongst the best medals in the game. Because remember, as Supernovas get better and better, as they give more medal strength, as they give more things like healing, things like that, as Supernovas get better, Supernova Renew gets better as well. So Kingdom Hearts 3 Terra is a good medal. There's also Kingdom Hearts 3 Xion, same principle, where she is a Supernova Renew medal for reverse medals, and that can be very relevant for things like PvP when you have like a Dark Riku, a Kingdom Hearts 3 Vanitas. So having that Supernova Renew is still a really good ability. There's Kingdom Hearts 3 Pooh, which is just not as good as he used to be. One of the good things about Pooh was that he was kind of like a heal buffer, sort of like a heal buffer, but unfortunately with things like Kingdom Hearts 3 Naminé in the pull right now, Pooh is unfortunately just not good anymore. If you get him, you can use him without traits, but unfortunately he's very outclassed in terms of being a buffer. Kingdom Hearts 3 Leon, unfortunately, was never a good medal. Not when he came out, not now, so unfortunately this is a pretty much a negative recommendation to me to have Kingdom Hearts 3 Leon, unfortunately. Looking at the Lingering Will, it is a tier 10 copy medal, and copy medals are always good no matter what. I have never run into a scenario where I pulled into a copy medal and regretted it. I ran into several scenarios where I didn't pull into a copy medal and regretted it, so copy medals are just really good. You can always use them to copy the next best effect in the game, and these are the kind of medals where they're so good you might even buy traits in the Moogle shop for them. It's very conditional, but copy medals, always good. Then there's Final Fantasy VII Remake Cloud. Unfortunately, he's a great staple medal, but because there aren't any traits in the Moogle shop, there's no way to trade him that isn't spending a lot of jewels in the Moogle shop. So, unfortunately, there's no trade packs, there's no avatar board with the traits where you can spend VIP coins, so unfortunately, a staple without traits is just not very good overall. Then there is Strikeform Sora, who is a fantastic PvP medal. Remember that defense break on both the special attack and the supernova attack is relevant regardless of the traits. So if you pull into Strikeform Sora, he's still a good medal because in PvP, you're still getting that 100% defense boost piercing, you're still getting that 30% defense boost piercing with 15 hits. So Strikeform Sora I can see being a medal you don't need traits on. Finally, there is Master Ericus, again, a good staple in terms of straight damage output. However, without traits in the Moogle shop in terms of the trade pack or getting traits from the avatar boards, unfortunately without those things, without having good traits on a staple medal, it's not very useful. And Master Ericus is no exception to the rule. Not having any traits on him, unfortunately, makes him a bad medal. Now, we're going to move on to the draw odds, and remember, one of the greatest things about draw odds and these Mixed Mercy banners is that all the medals get added to the pool, and because of that, you have a higher chance of getting one of these featured medals early. So this general represents those 4 5-star or higher medals, and you have a chance to get the featured medals. Let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit more here. So here it is: Naminé, Key Art 22, Kingdom Hearts 3 Terra, the Supernova Renew one, Kingdom Hearts 3 Xion, the Pooh, the Lingering Will, Leon. So as they add more featured medals into the banner, you have a higher % chance of pulling one of them early. So I went ahead and I did the math for y'all. In this case, in one pull, just one, if you do only one for 1,500 jewels, you have an 8.1% chance of getting one of those featured medals early. And that's a pretty good chance. I didn't do the math for it, but I think it's like 1 every 15 people is going to be getting one of the featured medal per pull. If you pull twice, your chances of getting at least one featured medal goes up to 15.5%, which is 1 every 7 players. So by the second pull, 1 every 7 players is going to have an extra one of the featured medals, and that's really good. Again, the best thing about draw odds and Mixed Mercies is that as more medals get added to the pool, you have more chances to get good stuff. Now, what are my thoughts and recommendations on this banner? Well, first things first, you gotta assess what's worth it. So in terms of what's worth it, let's go ahead and take a look at the list. So in terms of what's worth it, Kingdom Hearts 3 Naminé is good, Kingdom Hearts 3 Terra is good, Kingdom Hearts 3 Xion is good, Lingering Will is good, and Strikeform Sora is good. So that is 5 medals, and there are 5 other medals that are not good: Key Art 22, the Pooh, the Cloud, the Master Ericus, and the Leon. Those are the not good medals. So it's about a 50-50 chance you'll get something that's useful. Remember that the medals that you get out of this won't have traits. You have to spend more jewels to get traits because there's no trait packs in the Moogle shop and there are no avatar boards where you could spend VIP coins to get traits. So when you think about what's worth it, you have to ask yourself, what is good without traits? In this case, again, Nominee, Supernova ++ Kingdom Hearts 3 Terra, Kingdom Hearts 3 Xion, Lingering Will, and Strikeform Sora all have good utility that does not require traits. The other ones require things like damage in raids 40%, extra attack, or ground enemy defense -60%, or aerial enemy defense -60%. So you got to really take that into consideration. Not just that, but you have to take into consideration your specific scenario. So for example, in my scenario, the only thing I want out of this banner is going to be either Strikeform Sora or Kingdom Hearts 3 Terra, the Supernova Renew one. That's only 2 medals. That means at my mercy, so if I pull 4,500 jewels worth, if I pull 3 times, I only have a 20% chance of getting something that I want. And I have to ask myself, is it worth spending 4,500 jewels for a 20% chance? So 5 medals are good without traits, and then you have to reassess what medals are good for you specifically, and is it worth the chance? Maybe some of you really want Master Ericus, or maybe you'd be happy with any of those medals. In that case, it's an 100% hit, and that's worth pulling for if you want all of the medals. However, from my personal opinion, only those 5 medals are worth it. The Nominee, the Terra, the Xion, the Lingering Will, and the Strikeform Sora. Those are all good medals, but that's still a 50-50% chance, so you could spend 4,500 jewels on a 50-50% chance. So who do I think should pull for this banner? I think beginners would actually get a pretty good, decent value out of this. 4,500 jewels can potentially get them a very high utility medal. So for example, if I was a beginner and I got Kingdom Hearts 3 Pooh, I would still be pretty happy with that. That's still a good buffer. It's not as good as the Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie A that you can get for 3,600 jewels, but it would be okay. You can get Lingering Will, which is great for a beginner, again, having that copy medal. So a lot of beginners could benefit from this because it's a cheap banner that you can get a potentially really decent medal. And if you get Nominee as a beginner, that's really good. Should you pull specifically though, if you want Kingdom Hearts 3 Nominee? I wouldn't. And the reason for that is you're aiming for specifically Nominee, and that's only a 10% chance on the Mercy. If you don't want anything else, and you only want Nominee, a 10% chance for 4,500 jewels is just not very good. If you want to risk it, that's totally okay because you could end up with something still useful. But if you really just want that Nominee, there might be a banner coming up soon where she'll just be introduced as like a 5-pull Mercy or something like that. And that's an 100% chance if you can Mercy it. With every single person though, remember to save jewels for Anniversary. JP Anniversary, I believe, is September 4th, and that's only a few weeks away, and we are going to be getting some celebratory stuff early. So I don't know if that notice is still live, but they did say in the August notice, let's see here, August new events, right at the bottom, it says that we have a JP Anniversary celebration. So if we scroll all the way down here, all the way to the bottom, on August 29th, we get a JP version 5 year anniversary countdown event. So save your jewels for Anniversary. If you don't have at minimum 17,000 jewels, I would save. Even if you think you could get something good from this banner, I would still save because they could release something amazing on JP Anniversary. Remember, it only happens once a year. So you don't want to be caught with no jewels going into this once a year event that could be potentially incredibly amazing where they can drop like a new buffer or something like that. So that is just my recommendation. Again, if you're a beginner, you could get value out of this, but truthfully, if you don't have 17,000 jewels, I would definitely save. Now, one thing that I want to talk about, and it's really disturbing me because it's the same way I felt when Star Ocean Anamnesis got canceled. The fact that they didn't have those 5 VIP coins here is actually very, very troubling for me. Now, the reason is because that means quality checking is going down. So let's go ahead and take a look at the previous banner so I can show you what I mean. So this is the Supernova ++ Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie banner, and as you can see, Japanese banners are inherently different than global banners. Global banners give you more of a description of the things that you're going to get. So in this case, global, they show you get 3 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals, 1 trait medal, 5 medals that are 5-star or higher, 10 VIP coins, and 3 magic gems. And it's a Mercy and 5 draws, whereas the JP banner only shows the 3 magic gems you get as well as the 5 Mercy pull. So that was the Kyrie banner. So moving on to the one-hit banner, again, it's just inherently different, where the global version just came with more information. The only thing you saw from the one-hit version of the JP banner is the Mercy in 3, and then the featured medals on there. So still okay, the banners still look fine, nothing going on there. Then we get to the Supernova Plus deal, and this was the first deal where I started to notice things going downhill. So number one, I'm not a big fan of that one day only thing. I feel like that was just kind of Shutterstocked. I forgot the name of the program, but it looks like it was just edited in with like Microsoft Paint. So I'm not a fan of that because that just seems like a quality check thing. I mean, look at the JP version with this gold sticker, and it looks so hyped. They fixed all the text so that it shows exactly in that space. Whereas in the global version, we got this one day only that looks like it was literally just really quickly photoshopped in there. So I feel like there was very minimal effort that went into that. Not only that, but with the Supernova Plus deal, you actually got 10 VIP coins with every single pull. And again, you don't see those 10 VIP coins on the banner notice. Again, going into the idea that the quality checking for this game is potentially going downhill and that they're not staffing it as well as they used to. Now that brings us to the upright power metal deal, where we run into the same problem. So again, JP, they don't have a lot of information on their banner, but global, they missed something. So we're so used to seeing these VIP coins on the description of the banner, but we missed it again. Again, looking at that medal or that poll that my Discord member did, you can see those VIP coins in the bottom right, but you don't see them on the announcement, even though in previous banners we did see that. So it makes me kind of concerned about the quality checking, because for anyone who played Star Ocean Anamnesis, one of the first things we noticed right before the game got discontinued was that the quality checking went down. We saw more bugs with new characters, we saw all these things that were normally used to working not working anymore. So now we're starting to see something in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross where the quality checking just isn't as good as it used to be. So it makes me a little concerned that maybe they're starting to put the brakes on this game. Maybe they're starting to think we can't invest too many resources in this. So let me know what your thoughts are on this, because I actually find this very disturbing that we are drifting away from good quality coming out on these images. So that's all for now. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I'd be happy to answer when I have the time. If you'd like to join my Discord, I'll put the link in the description below, and you can just type that into your URL and you are good to go. But with that being said, that's the end of this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, until next time, take it easy.